Hello and welcome to the Sci-Fi Collective. I'm Wayne.
And I'm Jude, and the time has finally come. This historic day, we are talking about Discovery. We have just watched it 24 hours ago. We did intend to record straight after, but neither of us has been online. It came out on
Monday for us.
Monday. What will it have been? The 25th in the UK on Netflix, and we're on the next day, Tuesday now. I've still only seen those first two episodes once. I've just not had the time to watch them a second time yet.
Yeah, no, I fully intend to go through them another couple more times.
Yeah, so this video and recording is not going to be an in-depth analysis of this scene and that scene. It's just our reactions. It's just that, exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah, exactly, because that's the thing. We're not gonna... don't get me wrong, there will be spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled about Discovery, then tune out, come back when you've watched it.
Yeah, major spoilers ahead.
Yeah, but at the same time, we're not going to be analysing every single thing, though.
No.
We will give our theories, and also just basically, I think it'll be good to discuss the episodes as a whole as well. So we're going to be covering both episode 1 and 2. So what was your instant reactions, mate, after watching Discovery?
Okay, I'll try and sum it up in some sound bites. It was everything I thought it would be, and everything I hoped it would be. Very visually impressive. I was impressed by the writing, and a lot of the things that I predicted came true, and I think it's going to continue to do that. But there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I was predicting big, dramatic things, and that's what I feel like we got. And like all my favourite TV shows these days, like, I know it's Trek, so I'm biased, but like all my favourite shows like Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, that sort of stuff, I'm hooked. I instantly want to know where it's going.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's my soundbite.
Exactly. Well, for me personally, it was one of those things that after everybody, like, on the build-up, this doesn't look like Trek. This isn't real Trek. It's, for me, this doesn't feel like Trek. This is Trek. It ticks all of the boxes. It's not a facade with a Star Trek label stamped on it.
No.
It is a modern day Trek that not only is relevant in how it's shot, the storytelling, the pacing, but I feel it does have the morality, does have the Roddenberry vision,
and I think we're going to get more of that. But I definitely say it's what Star Trek deserves to be in 2017.
Absolutely.
It had to have this budget. It had to have this grand, visual stuff going on and drama going on. And it wouldn't work, I don't think, without everything that it has, and it works perfectly for me. The only thing I'll say is I almost wish we were watching USS Shenzhou, because that's where there's no Discovery in these first two episodes. That's one major spoiler right there. We don't see the Discovery, but we see the Shenzhou, and I love it. I love the captain. And
we wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting to see the Discovery straight away, but they've kept it entirely out of the pilot, because you got to think.
It's the pilot and the second episode.
Well, if you think about all of the other series, the pilots have always been double episodes.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean.
If you think about it in that terms, whether it was Encounter at Farpoint, Emissary,
It is just
caretaker.
like them, but like on their DVDs, they often appear as the same thing, but on Netflix it does appear as two. But I mean, if you just let
Hmm.
it go, it totally feels just like one big episode anyway.
Yeah,
But it does have
exactly.
two titles and stuff. But yeah, no Discovery in either of them. But the Shenzhou, oh, I love it. I love the way it looks. I love the captain.
Hmm.
The crew works. I mean, they don't want to overdo the crew because I think most of them have died at this point, and you're not going to see them again.
Mm, I think probably out of the bridge crew, at least half of them will go over to the Discovery.
At least half.
Yeah,
Well, we know that. Is it Saru? Is that his name?
yeah, it
The
is
science
Saru.
officer guy. He's
Hmm.
definitely going over. And
Yeah.
I can confirm that Discovery, the USS Discovery, is definitely going to be in episode 3.
Hmm. Well, that's the thing. I think the first two episodes done a absolutely brilliant job at laying the groundwork and setting up the rest of the series, because I don't think episode 3 so one thing that I have heard some people say is, oh, it's a bit action packed for my liking. Why does modern Trek have to be um full on and fast paced? But I think to that I say they've gone in with that and set all of the baseline of the story that is to come.
Yeah.
And I think episode 3 you'll see the pace really suddenly slow down because you couldn't keep that pacing up forever.
Yeah, it's episode 3 is definitely not going to be the same. I've seen some small clips of episode 3 of you.
No.
Um, so yeah, basically episode 2 ends with our main character Michael Burnham,
Hmm.
is it?
It is.
She she gets punished for her actions in these first 2 episodes. But obviously somewhere between episode 2 and 3 she gets assigned to the Discovery, but she's going to be a lower rank. But yeah,
And obviously it's probably, I doubt it would be immediate. It's probably going to be like 1 year later or 2 years later or
yeah,
something.
I'd agree with that as well. Some time will have passed. But
Mhm.
but the clip I've seen is she's on the Discovery, and
Mhm.
you see some of the new crew who you've seen obviously all the press about, but weren't in the first 2 episodes because
Mhm.
they're Discovery crew, and everyone's just giving her the cold shoulder, just as if to say like, "Who are you?" And they're literally saying like, "You can't go over there. You know, you're restricted from that area. You
Mhm.
can't go over there," because she's used to being a commander, but she's not got that
Yeah.
freedom anymore. But no one wants to help her. It's almost
Mhm.
like so many movies based on American high schools when they're in the cafeteria and no one
Yeah.
wants to speak to the new kid or be seen with the new kid. That's how it came across.
But also, it's probably a question of because of what she's done
Yeah,
has left a bit of a stigma, a bit of a maybe Rolaren or Tom Paris stigma.
maybe worse. Maybe worse because, you know, she's arguably started a war. A
Yeah,
gigantic
exactly.
war.
Which, to be honest, is a bit unfair, really.
No, but I mean, some characters are gonna,
Oh,
view it that way.
that is the way that she'll be seen in the universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of room for drama and clashing
Mhm.
of characters and stuff. So I'm really looking forward to what we're gonna see in the future. And
Oh,
as you say, it's
absolutely.
not all going to be action packed, but it doesn't have to be. But I'm glad
Mhm.
they did that with the first 2, and that was one of my
Mhm.
predictions that I'd made, and I think they made the right choice by doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. And for one question that someone texted me today, who is a Trek fan, wanted to know: is this definitely in the Prime universe? Feels like it should be in the Kelvin timeline.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's been 100% confirmed. It is in the Prime
yeah,
universe, even though there may be some discrepancies when it comes to technology and whatnot. Um, but to be honest, I think we've discussed it before. Um, if you had a series with less advanced technologies than there is now, it would be unrealistic.
Yeah.
So I think I'm personally willing to accept that retcon that
Yeah.
there is more advanced technologies.
Yeah, there's
'Cause, I
going to be
mean,
little things like that each week, isn't there? But like, yeah, I can
mhm,
live with it. Oh, one thing I've only just realised as we were talking, what you've mentioned
mhm,
on the pod for months or years now. What
mhm.
you didn't get a hand of it, did you? From
No.
Enterprise that you were hoping for, like they had on Voyager and Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, that is the one thing that I was hoping for, and that is the one thing that I did think when I finished watching it, because even though you've got Sarek,
Hmm.
who's still in the series, obviously cast as a new character, but I did want just a brief. I wanted Cetapol.
Yeah, I know you did. That was who you were hoping for, and I agreed that would have made most sense. It was one of the only people that would be alive.
Hmm.
But yeah, it would have been good. Maybe they did approach her. I don't know. Um, and I'd
Uh,
suggested maybe they might have done like someone as a CGI character, like Star Wars is doing now and stuff. But
or they could have even done like a watching a history file of Archer,
yeah,
or
or maybe
yeah,
these are like some little things, like little treats, Easter eggs, if you want to call them that, in the future. But um,
hmm,
yeah, no such thing
yeah,
in this first episode.
yeah. First, the actual the special effects in the new Trek is amazing.
Yeah, totally.
It looks absolutely stunning.
The only thing, my only complaint about the program altogether, like proper complaint, but even then, it's not that big a deal.
Hmm.
It's the same thing from the JJ movies. It's those fucking lens flares.
I didn't really notice.
Do you know what? I think they toned it down on the second half, on the second episode, but on the first one, there was places on the Shenzhou where they just kept doing it over and over and over, and it's just I don't even think that they were done in the traditional way that JJ did them. It just felt like they'd been added
Hmm.
by computer, and it's like, okay, we get it. It's a really shiny bridge. It's all nice, and but
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it didn't happen all the time, but there was a couple of occasions I was like, all right, I get it. But I mean, if that's my biggest complaint, other than that,
Hmm.
it's practically perfect.
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. And I only ever really. I think the only place that I really noticed it was when it was like shots of like stars,
Hmm.
and like shot like of the binary star system. I don't think I noticed it in any other place. Though one Easter egg that I saw on Twitter that you would never pick up just watching the series, but in I know you like to try and find stuff in the captain's ready rooms
Yeah,
as nods.
yeah.
Uh, on her shelves, she's got a selection of books,
Mm.
and uh, the books actually on the spines. Someone had like taken a picture and zoomed in. Um, they are each named after TOS episodes.
Oh wow, no, that's cool.
Yeah, it's City on the Edge of Forever, A Mock Time,
Yeah,
all different ones.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I thought that was quite nice, even though you would never see it on screen.
No,
Just little
I'd
things
like to
like that,
see
I
that
think.
though. But yeah, if that's in there, I'm guessing there's probably others too that people may have not picked up on yet.
Hmm. Yeah. Also, I liked the nod to um, to the motion picture with the spacesuit propulsion.
Yeah, Yeah, definitely. You can finally enjoy it without being bored to death in the process.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And I just thought that works really well.
Yeah.
Um, Also, I think I liked seeing the interactions between Michael and Captain. I can't remember her name.
Captain.
Captain.
I'll just bring it up on my phone. I did
Captain
too.
Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah. What's her name?
Because I know some people have turned around and said that they felt Michelle Yeoh's acting was a bit stiff.
I didn't think so.
But
I really enjoyed the character.
Yeah, I did, and the thing is, I kind of, I think we kind of knew that she was gonna die.
Yeah.
Like even before watching the episodes.
I have her name on my phone, but I don't remember it being this. But I'm probably going to get the pronunciation
You'll probably
completely
get it wrong. Yeah.
But it's like Philippa Giorgio, Captain Giorgio. Does that sound right? I don't know. That's what it says on my phone. This is Wikipedia I'm looking at.
But that's the thing. Once again, we're discussing this after watching it once.
So don't get all, don't get your geek
exactly.
rage
If you're
on.
watching this in 3 months' time, don't.
I've seen the episode
don't get
once.
triggered about this.
But no, I really liked the character of the captain. I wasn't kidding a minute ago when I said I would love to have her as the captain for an entire thing, or both of those characters together. It's the first time we've seen two ladies as well, like in those roles together, and I thought they worked brilliantly. But obviously, that's intentional for you to have sympathy for Michael, and also I get the feeling that we'll probably get some flashbacks throughout the series of Captain Giorgio or whatever she is.
Yeah.
I think because they're already doing multiple flashbacks, aren't they? In this first episode.
Yeah, and the thing is, flashbacks are a relatively easy way to fill in.
Yeah, I'm happy with them as long as they make
as
long as they make sense to the story. Then why not?
As long as it gives the character more depth and gives you an understanding as to their thinking, as to why they are acting the way that they are.
Well, that's it. With flashbacks in this first episode, it really fleshed that character out. But because you had like 4 different times that you're looking at the character, you had her as a child being sort of adopted by Sarek. Then you had her as a young adult, where she almost doesn't want to be human anymore. She's like so desperate to be Vulcan and follow their ways, and then you see her join the Shenzhou, and then she's sort of like immediately, I don't want to say butting heads with the captain, but like she's almost seeming rude, but you can see that the captain is beginning to like melt her sort of icy personality, like saying, "Oh, can see you've been away from humans for a while." And then you've got what she is now, where she has this great relationship with her, where they're on the desert planet, and it's like Michael is the one who's leading them through the desert and being so sure of herself. But then obviously that leads on to the, what the whole story is going to be about, with this interaction with the Klingons.
Yeah, and I did appreciate that, even though it was only through dialogue, that they gave reference to other members of the Federation.
Yes, me too.
Like the Andorians.
Yeah, I like the fact that the Klingons referred to them as like those filthy Andorians or something like that. They said the other ones by
Yes.
name, but when they said Andorians, which I like Andorians particularly in Enterprise. So,
Mhm.
I look forward to seeing them again. Which you can't say the name of all those races and then not have them play a part later
Yeah.
on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because that's the thing. Even though um, it was only really TOS that had them at first, Enterprise really fleshed out
Oh,
the Andorians, and I think it
perfectly.
would be a shame to not
I still
have.
think if Enterprise hadn't have done that, I don't think they'd dare do it in Discovery or anything else because,
Mhm.
you know, even though they worked well story-wise in TOS,
Mhm.
they just look so silly with those sort of little
Yeah.
hairband antennas they had. But by the time you got to Enterprise, they'd done a really good job on the makeup, and obviously actors like Jeffrey Combs came in with Shran
Mhm.
and really gave them much more of a personality, and like you didn't just see them as the enemy anymore. You could see things from their side with the Vulcans, which I really liked that in Enterprise.
Mhm.
And I hope we see that with the Andorians and the other races in this a bit more than we have.
Yeah. No, definitely. Speaking of races, what did you think of the Klingons? Because obviously they're very
Um,
new-looking Klingons.
yeah, I mean, this has been out there for a while for everyone to look at and talk about, and we've spoke about it on the Trekmate podcast where we didn't even believe that they were the Klingons for a while when
Mhm.
people were leaking in quotation marks pictures of these Klingons. Um, I'll just have to deal with it, and like they look odd. They don't look like what we've seen before, but I don't have
Mhm.
time in my life to be like having long conversations about they don't look right. I'm not going to watch the show, like
I I just think it's the after watching it and after seeing like nearly 2 hours of these
mm,
Klingons, um, a part of me thinks that it would almost be stupid to not have some Klingons that look different because how could you say that any species from any planet um, would
that's right.
look identical to each
But
other?
also, I had to put myself in the shoes of the children of the '60s who grew up on TOS, who then
Hmm.
watched TNG and the movies and were like,
Yeah.
"What's that? That's not a Klingon.
Hmm.
Klingons don't look like that." Like so. Now we can see that
Yeah.
through their eyes, but it's just not worth getting, your knickers in a twist about, which I know people have before Discovery even started. But I'd also like to see if we are going to get some explanations for the different looks. I mean, we've even got in this first episode, we've got um, various different coloured skinned Klingons. We've got like an albino one, I guess you'd call him,
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
he's like totally white, but the other
Yeah.
Klingons are like black, like
Hmm.
midnight black. What would you call that?
Yeah, like charcoal.
Yeah. Well, our
Yeah.
sort of main character Klingon is that, isn't he? He's the darkest of dark you could have.
Yeah. But I just think that there is a great possibility that different races of Klingons had different
Yeah,
looks
yeah.
about them,
Just like human
especially
beings. So like, yeah, I'm totally open to it.
especially after like as well as because we always said that the Klingons for after the explanation Enterprise gave for why the Klingons were lost their ridges, they could have easily contained that between certain sects of Klingons,
Mhm.
so not everybody had to lose their ridges
Yeah.
as well. So yeah, I don't know whether we will get any sort of
And also, minus holograms or whatever you want to call them, like the only Klingons we see in this episode are all contained within that centuries old ship vessel thing, whatever the hell it is.
yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
so we haven't actually seen. We've seen other Klingon ships, but we didn't see who was in them other than the holograms of them. Like,
Mhm.
So you know we don't know what we're going to see Klingon wise
No,
further down the line.
no, exactly, and I, I didn't mind the look of the ships. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
Because obviously, once again, if you had a Klingon battlecruiser from TOS, that would look a bit out of place.
Mhm.
In this
I thought
universe.
all the ships on both sides looked great. I didn't have a problem with anything I saw. I like all the designs.
Mhm. Yeah. No, definitely. And I'll tell you something else that I enjoyed. I really liked the way that they showed the emergency force fields.
Yes.
Yeah, especially when it was, because obviously we saw them a little bit but then after the fact of Michael waking up in the brig.
Mhm.
But when there was when the bridge got attacked and a part of the bulkhead
Yeah.
got blown away, and then instantly the shields were there. I
Yeah.
thought that was fantastic.
Pretty much instantly. Yeah, just like a second there.
A second of air seeping out.
Doesn't like one person get sucked out, or is that another scene?
That was a different scene.
That's in the prison, isn't it? That's with Michael and the
that's
guy.
in the brig.
He's like got a concussion or something.
Yeah.
And he's just going like, "What are you doing here? Why are you not on the bridge?" And then suddenly it's just like, whoosh, and he's gone.
Yeah. I thought that was a cool scene with Michael working out a way to get out of the brig.
I did, but I also, when I saw that, I was like, they had to do that, didn't they? It's in Into Darkness, and the first JJ film as well. I don't know if it's in the third one.
Yeah.
Beyond
It
or
is,
not.
yeah.
They do it in Beyond as well.
It might not be.
I'm just thinking, like, I'm only joking here, but like, I'm just thinking, like, CBS was just like, we've got to have lens flares, and we've got to have people shooting through the sky as quick as they can in this position.
That's the thing. I think that was put in there purposely.
Yeah.
To be a nod to the JJ verse.
Yeah, I do too. It wasn't an accident, but it still looked cool. And they had stuff with Michael that they didn't have with the JJ movies, where she's not in a suit this time.
Mm-hmm.
She's exposed for like a second and a half or something. You start to see her face go all frozen and messed up.
Well, that's the thing. I thought that it was far more effective than theirs, because the build up to it was
and it wasn't
much more.
Wasn't for miles or anything. It was literally just, what was it, like a 20-foot or something like that.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But she had to basically convince from her cell. She had to convince the computer to let her do that.
That it was her best chance of survival.
Yeah. And she was right. If she hadn't done that, she would have died there.
Mhm. Well, that's the thing. The emergency shields have only lasted another 15 minutes. So, if you're gonna die anyway, you might as well die trying.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think for me, these two episodes just ticked every single box that I could have asked them to.
Yeah, pretty much. I'd have to agree with that. I'm very impressed. I'm hooked. I can't wait for what's next. Yeah, I'm not just looking forward to the next episode. I'm looking forward to the entire thing. I'm sure, like many Trek fans and just TV fans in general, like, if the whole thing was on Netflix right now, I'd watch the whole thing within the next 2 days, I think.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. That's why I do prefer to sometimes binge watch things, but then with Star Trek, you want to be watching it as fresh as it is as well.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we'll discuss briefly with you. What did you think of the opening title sequence?
I think it was like the day before Discovery came on Netflix. you sent me a link to that, what you'd found, and neither of us could quite believe that was it. It seemed like it was like just a rough version of what it was going to be, is what I described it as. Like, I don't think it's going to be that. It'll be those images but done better. So I was sort of surprised to see it when I saw it. But I mean, it's not too bad. Like, you could have much worse than that. The main thing that I thought would have been different was just the colours. It's like a white background with red and yellow colours and stuff, and with the colours that are associated with all the trailers and press for the thing, I would have expected like blacks and blues and golds and stuff like that. So, but I mean, no, it was fine.
I do really. The more I listen to it, the more I love the theme music.
Oh yeah, you say that. They had, just like they do with movies, like big movies, they had different variations of it going throughout the show where it was the same but more dramatic, and I loved that. I loved hearing that, like it get bigger and better.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I said it like I think on the pod recently, like people are going to be humming that for years now.
Yeah. And with the actual title sequence, I think it's all right. I'm not a huge fan.
You'll probably get used to it though, won't you?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna hate on it just because I don't like a title sequence. I mean, hell, people fucking hated Enterprise's opening sequence.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's for me. I think it's okay. But at the same time, I think after watching the Orville,
I was just going to bring up the Orville. It makes,
and the Orville's title sequence.
I mean, the Orville is clearly, taking cues from Star Trek, like all the Star Treks apart from Enterprise, basically. So we don't need to describe that to anyone listening to this, but I think maybe CBS and the makers of Discovery were aware of what Orville were going to do, maybe, and decided that it's time to go in a different direction, but not repeat what Enterprise did either.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, what Discovery have done for the title sequence is very modern.
I was about to say that, yeah, it reminds me of a lot of modern programs. I don't know, like maybe I haven't watched it for a while, but like something like Dexter.
Yeah, even if you took it down as simple as a title sequence that does lots of different quick cut shots, like whether it's The Walking Dead, whether it's Stranger Things, whether it's any sort of modern program, that just seems to be the sort of style of today.
Yeah, definitely.
So it definitely does feel very modern in that sense, but
totally.
Still, that's just a personal preference thing. But if out of those two episodes, the only thing that I can say is like, oh, I'm not that fussed about it, is the title sequence, then I can live with that.
Yeah, same with me and the lens flares. It's just no big deal. There's so many things we could talk about these episodes, but I think we can definitely go in depth at a later time for a longer chat and a longer recording. But I can't think what else to talk about for our first reactions.
No, I think that's for an instant reactions video. I think that's absolutely plenty to chew on.
Yeah.
For now, and as you said, as we watch the episodes more times, as we revisit it more, then we'll be able to give more in-depth analysis. But for now, I think that's a good way to finish it off. I think in general, we're both very happy with how this has started.
Definitely. Very pleased.
Yeah. Excellent. And it'll be interesting now that we've recorded this, I'm going to go online soon and just see what some other people have said.
Yeah.
See whether any of the instant haters have been willing to give it a try, and whether they still hate on it.
Oh, I have no doubts that they will still be out there pushing their hate, or however you want to put it.
Oh, definitely.
But whatever. Like, if that's what makes them happy in their own weird way, then whatever.
One very last brief thought. I thought it would. What did you think of Sarek talking to Michael via his embedded Contra?
Yes, yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yeah, I didn't have any problem with that.
It was obviously it's the first time that we've seen something like that with the Vulcans. I didn't think that someone's Catra was instantly put inside someone unless the person done it on purpose.
Well,
But
one thing that I thought is there's got to be lots of stuff that could be revealed to us at later dates with characters and what has happened and why has it happened. One thing what went through my head, I'm not necessarily saying it's the case or it's what I believe, but we're sort of led to believe that he's sort of rescued her, that she's like he's fostered her, I guess you could say.
yeah.
But for all we know, it might have been Sarek. It could be a child of his, even though she appears human.
I don't think it will be.
It could be like another human woman he's been with at some point, and
No, I don't think it would be.
it's his duty or something to bring her up after her family's been attacked by Klingons or whatever it was.
Unless maybe you find out that somehow in the past he allowed her parents to get killed or something.
Yeah, that's the more likely one, I think, that he looks after her because I mean he even tells her in that moment that you're talking about, that if you come across the Klingons, you've got to give them a Vulcan Hello or whatever it is, and shoot first, and they'll respect you for it in the long run. It may be those sort of actions that he took in the past that caused people to get killed. And again, that's why he feels this guilt and the need to take her in as his own sort of thing.
Yeah, no, it's entirely possible, but only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's what I'm saying. I think there's going to be all sorts of little twists, and that's exactly how I like my TV these days. I want to keep guessing, and I want them to surprise me and entertain me.
Absolutely. So let us know in the comment section below what you guys thought of Discovery. Did it hit the mark for you? What would you have liked to have seen? And remember, whilst you're here, remember to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate your support. And if you feel like supporting the channel further, check out our Patreon link in the description below. So for now,
live long and prosper.